Day 13 of your astrological advent calendar. I have a bit of a mystery to tell you today. A strange thing that happened yesterday. Yesterday we left Malibu, the place we were, and went up to the pier to have breakfast. There's a place there, farm to table. After we parked, I saw this gentleman walking down the street. He was very tall. He had a long fur coat on, brown fur coat that went all the way down to the ground. He had a suitcase that he was pulling. He had a hat, and he also had a very nice black kind of cube bag. And I couldn't help myself. I just thought, oh, LA, you have the most interesting people. It's just fascinating. I'm a people person, people watcher. I love different people, And so I thought, wow, that was really cool to see somebody like that in the middle of the day, 9, 10 a.m. walking down the street. And then just kind of went about my business. We went and had breakfast, and then we walked on the pier. I said, oh my gosh, there he is again.
No, just the guy with the fuzzy coat.
So I kind of did a little sneaky thing and took a little video of him just because I thought, wow, this is so cool. Or here he is again. And we walked down to the end of the pier, and on the way back, I was about to just pass him by, but something in me said, just go talk to him real quick. So I did. I said, excuse me, sir, sorry to bother you, but by chance, are you a musician? Just because I had that vibe that he was. And he said, yes, I am. I am a musician. How did you know? I said, well, you just look so cool, By that time I got closer, and he had these black pants on with all these like rhinestones, and everything was very clean and neat, and the bag looked new. Everything looked really, really good. Except I noticed that he had an electric toothbrush plugged in to the pier. Now, this plug was on the back side of the pier. So, it was one that had a plastic cover to protect it from weather, which means you'd have to know it was there. So I thought that was interesting. And then, so I said, oh, cool. What instrument do you play? And he said, I played guitar. And I said, is there any way I could hear your music? Thinking maybe at a YouTube or something. He goes, yeah. Have you ever heard of the band The Time? I said, no. And then he said, well, my name's Jesse Johnson. I said, okay. And he says, have you ever heard of the movie Purple Rain with Prince? Yes. Yes, I've heard of Purple Rain with Prince, but I hadn't seen the movie. I haven't seen it. So I think I might have said it. I said, yes, I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. He goes, well, in the movie, Prince has a band, and he named the band. And then there's another band called The Time, and they're fighting each other. They're doing like band off or something. I don't know exactly what happened in the story, but that's what I understood. And then he said, that was my band. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. I just met somebody who was in Purple Rain with Prince. Holy moly. 6 degrees of separation just went down to 1, 2, I guess. And then I just said, wow, that's so cool. It's so nice to meet you. Thank you so much. And we shook hands, and I said, okay, have a nice day. Thank you. Then we're walking away, and my mom goes, that was so cool. And I'm like, I know, right? And then she says, but where's his guitar? And I'm like, that's a good question. That's a good question. What does he have all this stuff? Why is his toothbrush plugged in? We get back home and had to do a ton of stuff. Didn't go to bed until midnight. Then I was just about to go to bed, and I go, oh my God, Jesse Johnson. I have to look him up. Granted, it was in the 80s, early 80s, and he's older now, right? He's supposed to be 65, but I am really attentive to people's faces and details. I look and pay so much attention. This cannot be the same person. He had convinced me that he was Jesse Johnson, and I was convinced. And after this moment at midnight, I was just like, holy moly, he lied to me about his identity. But why? Why? Then I was thinking about Jupiter and overextension, and how Jupiter is in Cancer, which is exalted. We're doing good with that. But Jupiter always has two sides to it. There is a shadow side and there's a light side. Being faced with being completely lied to, taking the bait big time, because I don't know who he is. Why would anybody just completely say they were someone else? I don't know. Just taking the bait and being like, okay, cool. Nice to meet you. Before story time, I just wanted to read to you from Stephen Royo. This is Astrology Psychology in the 4 Elements. He says, positive expression of Jupiter, faith, reliance on higher power or greater plan, openness to grace, optimism, openness to self's need for improvement, and the negative expression, overconfidence, laziness, scattering energy, leaving the work to others, irresponsibility, overextending the self, or promising too much. So Jesse Johnson's like a Grammy Award winner. He goes on tours all over the place. I mean, he's Prince's favorite guitar player, I read. It was like he really loved Jesse Johnson. So that leads us straight into story time. The Grinch is a really angry guy. He has a heart that's 3 times too small, and he's so freaking annoyed by these who's down in the valley because all the sound travels up and he has to listen to them singing all the time about Christmas. And he's just like, they're driving him nuts. So he thinks all the things that they're doing, the decorations and the presents and whatever, the lights, all of it is what makes Christmas to them. That's the essential thing. The food as well. That's a big point too. So he decides to test that belief. Christmas Eve, he puts on a Santa suit and he goes to everybody's house and just like a Santa. And he goes through and he takes all their stuff. So he's the anti-Santa. He puts all their things into his sleigh, even the smallest decorations. He takes absolutely everything. He's in the house that he's taking the tree. And this little girl comes down. Her name is Cindy Lou Who. She finds him taking the tree and she says, "What are you doing, Santa?" And he says, "Well, the tree needs to be fixed. I'm going to take it and fix it." And she says, "Okay." And I don't know why she believes he's Santa, because he's obviously a green monster looking dude. But she's like, "Okay." And that's how I felt too. And I was like, Jesse Johnson, okay. When the sleigh is full, he makes that poor dog bring it back up the mountain, Mount Crumpet, and he waits. He waits and waits and waits. And he's like, oh boy, they're going to be so upset when they realize that the Christmas is gone. I think honestly, he must have been so irritated at first to hear the singing, but then something just broke in him. He must have been like, oh geez, what? They're still singing Christmas songs? But it's like magic this time, because all the things he thought Christmas was, all the things he thought were the outer things that make Christmas, the material parts of it, were not what made these people come together. He realizes something big, okay? His heart grows 3 times. He grows bigger and he turns the sleigh around. But before that happens, it almost falls into a ravine, falls off the mountain. But because his heart was stronger, he was able to stop it, I guess. But he comes down and he realizes what he's done wrong, and he joins them without the disguise, gives them all of the things back, and he carves the roast beast and all that stuff, and he becomes part of their group. And I think this is a really good message, because he thought it was all about what the decorations were, what the accoutrement are, right? All the things that make the season. But that's not what it is. And that's probably why he didn't like it, because he thought that's what it was. It's just like, what a bunch of phony baloney junk. When he took it all away and the people still gathered, they still held their little hands and their little voices raised up to the stars in the sky. He said, that's what I want to be part of. And that's when the heart grew bigger, right? So I don't know what to make of Jesse Johnson, but I feel like I might have missed something there, because it felt like a Christmas movie, seeing this guy in LA in 80 degrees, December, wearing that giant coat, carrying his bags. It was almost like a Santa thing. I'm like, are you Santa in disguise? Like, who are you? And I'm still trying to figure it out. But I'm also thinking, is he like the Grinch? Is he testing me? Is he trying to see if I just don't get it. Crystal Advent Calendar. Yesterday I got the yellow citrine, and it was beautiful. I didn't really think about it too hard at the moment, but when I was editing the video, I realized there was a picture behind me of a bird and the star, a sun, and it was looking just like this yellow citrine. And I also mentioned a little light on the horizon, and this is that yellowy color of the sun. I don't know. It's so beautiful the more I think about it. So we've gotten through 2 rows. Now we're on the 3rd row, number 13. Ooh. Oh, this one's different. Wow. Oh, look. This one must be, I do have my glasses today. Just a moment. Yes, much, much better. This is Green Adventurine. Okay. And this is Green Adventurine, and I just got to laugh because I didn't even just put 2 and 2 together with the Grinch being green. Oh, Lord. I swear I did not plan any of this. I have not opened any of those. Those are all sealed. I opened them when I show you. I did not plan this at all. This is like, wow. I'm a little mind blown. Green Adventurine, known as the Stone of Luck, supports new ideas and fresh starts. Yeah. New ideas and fresh starts. They're not always easy to process, and they might take time. They're like puzzles, these little puzzles to figure out. My little Jesse Johnson puzzle, the Grinch puzzle, the materialism versus spiritualism. Like, the Grinch really was never a bad guy. He just didn't understand the reality behind it all. And maybe the people never had the opportunity to show it because they always had a bunch of these things around them. So they never had the struggle or the lack or whatever to prove that they would have still that Christmas spirit and the love for each other and the camaraderie, the celebration, despite the fact that everything was gone. Anyway, here we go. Green adventuring. Very nice. I like you just the way you are. Thank you so much for being here with me on day 13. And I look forward to tomorrow. I really do. Who knows what tomorrow will bring? It's pretty amazing. It's been a magical season. All right. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you tomorrow.